What is going on, guys? So this is only my third video, but I thought that I'd try and fill a niche that kind of doesn't exist yet, or hasn't been filled yet, however that phrase goes. But basically I've noticed that reading the 1990s Valiant comic books, that people on YouTube have not kind of explained it. I'm a big fan of Comics Explained, and I think that the Valiant Unity event should be, the 1990s one anyway, should be explained here for people to understand, and just make it easier for fans to understand where the history of Valiant comes from. So what I'm going to do in this video is hopefully explain the Valiant Unity event in a time-efficient manner. So just a brief note about the format of the Valiant Unity event. It was constructed very similar to a Secret Wars, or kind of a DC rebirth method, where it takes place in the entire universe, and it reaches out and it has story arcs inside other characters' comic book regular series. The effect of that happening is obviously good for the publisher, because it can force people to buy the comic books to piece together the story, and in that same kind of vein also kind of get to know all of the different characters that are in the universe, and maybe pick out some new comic books that you might like to read regularly. So kind of the idea of getting people to buy all of the comics just so they can see what ones they like and what ones they don't like. So the Valiant Unity event in 1992 begins with Solar, Man of the Atom. Now, Dr. Solar, Man of the Atom, becomes Dr. Solar, Man of the Atom through a nuclear explosion. His regular origin personality, or this guy's name, what I'm trying to say, this guy's name is Phil Selesky, Dr. Phil Selesky. Now, he becomes Dr. Solar, Man of the Atom, after he is working in a nuclear power plant and has an accident. And this accident, or he originally thinks, only contains himself. And this accident gives him superpowers, very similar to that of Dr. Manhattan, if you're familiar with The Watchmen. He's an immensely powerful character. Unfortunately, for the Valiant universe, he's not the only one that gets superpowers as a result of this nuclear explosion. A co-worker of his, Erica Pierce, also gets superpowers as a result of this explosion. Now, in Phil Selesky's confusion after getting these powers, he has a story arc at the very beginning of his kind of run with Valiant, that he doesn't understand his power set yet, so he destroys all of reality. He destroys the Valiant universe, basically, and then resets it at a time prior to the accident that created his powers in the first place. So that's very confusing, but hopefully I'll put a visual in to help you understand that sequence. But unfortunately, the second person inside of the explosion with the superpowers, Erica Pierce, also experiences this time displacement, and she's dropped in the time. She's dropped back in time with these powers, and doesn't have any reason for it, and basically vows, she kills the version of herself that is living in the past time before the accident, because there were two of her at that point, and They think that's the end of it right there. When Solar finds the body of Erica Pierce at her house before the accident takes place, he thinks that is what actually happened, because he doesn't remember. But Erica Pierce at that point vows to fix Solar's mistakes and basically undo Solar Man of the Atom by, again, resetting the universe. So yeah, that's Erica Pierce's motive. She becomes a character called the Mother God because she is intensely powerful, just to a slightly lesser degree than Solar Man of the Atom. But she survives all the way until Rise Time, and also creates a pocket of time, or her own little private universe, that she can build a device to reset the universe with. So, hearing this, that Erica Pierce intends to reset the universe, because he does originally, he finds out about it after he pieces together the fact that there really shouldn't be an Erica Pierce after she was killed, because there was time continuity issues, and he figured out that she was still alive, and he learned that she intends to basically destroy this version of reality by resetting the universe. He decides that, well, obviously he has to stop that, so he starts about calling all the different Valiant heroes to come and help him go to Erica Pierce's pocket universe to destroy her device. Now, this device is this pocket universe is called the Lost Lands, and Erica Pierce, known as the Mother God, has taken up residence there, and she's waiting for Dr. Solar because she has a nefarious plan to stop him and obviously reset reality. So the first couple chapters of the Unity event take place over the course of the free issue, and then continue on into Chapter 2 with the Eternal Warrior #1, and Chapter 3 with Archer and Armstrong #1. And then continue into Magnus the Robot Fighter number 15, that being Chapter 4. Chapter 5, Exo Man of War #7. Chapter 6, Shadow Man #4. Chapter 7, Rye #6. Chapter 8 would be Harbinger #8. And Chapter 9, Solar Man of the Atom #12. And Chapter 10, Eternal Warrior #2. So it kind of rolls forward, introducing the different characters that come into the Lost Land to fight Erica Pierce. And indeed, the first 4 chapters are spent, even 5 chapters, are spent gathering the different heroes out of their various day-to-day lives and taking them to the Lost Land. Solar basically appoints a geomancer, which in the Valiant universe are just people that are familiar with what's going on in the time realms, in the different times that these heroes exist, and they're able to kind of guide the characters to the Lost Land. So Archer and Armstrong, Galad the Eternal Warrior, Magnus Robot Fighter, Exo Man of War all get to the Lost Lands at more or less the same time. And they have their adventures. Archer and Armstrong briefly become lost in the Lost Land, separated from the others, but it's mainly just a romp, and they all get together and start making plans to stop Erica Pierce. The interesting character here is Shadow Man, who is helped by a geomancer to the Lost Land to get to the Lost Land, but he appears not with the others. with the other heroes. He actually gets to the Lost Land slightly later than everybody else, and I'll reveal that in a second. So the Unity event really starts getting serious at Chapter 7 with Rai. Now, Rai is an intensely powerful character, and he is, at this point, the 42nd Rai, the Guardian of New Japan. And he is in the middle of defeating a threat to New Japan at the time that the Unity event begins. And he's rounded up by Solar Man of the Atom and the Geomancer. He's rounded up to come to the Lost Land to defeat Erica Pierce. At this point, there's a lot of Valiant heroes in the universe, all against Erica Pierce. So what Erica Pierce does is, in my opinion, this is my favorite moment in the series so far, is Erica Pierce decides that she can deal with Archer and Armstrong, and she can deal with Galad, and she can deal with Magnus Robot Fighter. She can even stop Exo Man of War, but the Rai is powerful enough to be considered a threat. So what Erica Pierce does is, at this point, tries to get the Rai to go back to New Japan by threatening to destroy or drop New Japan out of the sky and onto Earth's surface. And this is an intense scene. It's such an epic scene. Maybe I'll put a visual up. Excuse me. I'll put a visual up. It's just such a cool scene where Rai is forced to pick between staying in the fight with the rest of the heroes and going back to New Japan to save it from dropping out of the sky. And Rai does decide to stay in the fight, and it shows the character, and it shows the strength of his character, and it also locks the rest of the heroes into their fight against Erica Pierce. So after the events of Chapter 7, everybody is pretty much all there. You got Archer and Armstrong, you've got Magnus Robot Fighter, you've got Harbinger comes in the next series, and they're kind of they put the team over the top. There's a real optimism at this point after Harbinger gets there that they can do this and they can fight Erica Pierce. So with the Solar Man of the Atom chapter in the Unity event, they actually start to fight. They do start to fight Erica Pierce. They start to fight Erica Pierce at her fortress in the Lost Land. And Solar thinks that he can end the fight because he is slightly more powerful than Erica Pierce. So he goes straight to her, and this is where Shadow Man drops into the universe. Unfortunately, he comes in slightly late, and he sees Solar attacking Erica Pierce. Now, he hasn't had contact with any of the other heroes, so he hasn't had a chance to be kind of filled in on what's going on. I don't even think he's supposed to be there, but he is led there anyway, and he sees Solar attacking Erica Pierce, and he tries to stop Solar from attacking Erica Pierce for some reason. At this point, he's turned into a potato crisp by Solar, but provides enough of a distraction for Erica Pierce to actually set up and activate a black hole device that traps Solar inside of it, and allows her to go in and trap him. Now, she says in the issue that it's not enough to kill him, but it will stop him for long enough that she'll be able to fulfill her goal of resetting the universe and preventing the accident that created this mess in the first place from ever happening. So, at this point, the other heroes, having lost Solar, are actually despairing because the fight is a lot harder than they thought it would be. Erica Pierce's Lost Land is in a space outside of regular time, so she can call in warriors and kind of beasts from all over through the different time periods that existed throughout history and even in the future. So there's robots from Robot Fighter, there's dinosaurs from Turok, and all measure of things in between. armies from the Eternal Warrior show up as well to fight against these heroes. So at chapter 10, they're really at a crossroads. They don't know what's happened to Dr. Solar, and they're kind of outgunned at this point without Solar being there to lead the way against Erica Pierce, because he's the only character that can actually match up to her in terms of strength. So I'm going to go out and acquire the last 7 issues of this series. I have 10 of them, but I thought that it was a good place to end this kind of this synopsis, and I'll pick up the fight against Erica Pierce later when I have read the issues. But if I had to give a 25-second synopsis of what's happened so far, is all of the characters throughout the Valiant universe, Archer and Armstrong, Glad, Robot Fighter, Exo Man of War, the Harbingers, and Shadow Man are all in the Lost Land, and they're all fighting against Erica Pierce for the most part. And the last 7 issues of this series is going to be the long slog, and will Solar survive this encounter? Because he's currently trapped in a wormhole generator, or a black hole generator. So we don't know the answers to that yet, but I'll make the second half of this video when I do know them. Also, let me know if what I've put together so far is correct. I'd actually really be interested to know, because it is fairly confusing, especially if you haven't read Solar Man of the Atoms or Origin to understand where the heck Erica Pierce even comes from, or why she is like she is. So yeah, I think that's where I'm going to put down the mic for today, and maybe I'll go ahead and make the second when I've read the full series. But yeah, okay.
I'm on a ride to the moon and the stars. They ain't even know that I be moving the door. Keeping it real, keeping it ill.